Afternoon guys, welcome back to the Pedalworks workshop. Gonna do another little video today. This one we're going to talk about dropper posts, and this is an example of a reverb, and what I want to show you is how we fix that, the bouncing seat post. Most of the posts that come into me are not normally because they're due a service, normally way overdue that, but because they're doing exactly this and people get the ump with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip it apart, so we'll try and give you an idea, or show you how these work. It's pretty simple really, and they all rudimentally work the same way, but also how you fix it. You see some of these shortcut videos online of you know, you can turn your bike upside down and press the button and push up and down a few times and it gets rid of the air out of the system. A load of rubbish. The actuation has got nothing to do with the internal hydraulics of the seat post. This is a sealed system, so even when they're bouncy, the gas that charges the post versus the oil that controls the post have mixed, pretty much like you do when you get the Slurpee Reasshox. And if you look at my video of the X2, of the Slurpees, it's effectively the same thing. Air has got into the hydraulic system, which has then caused an air gap, which then gives you a spring. Anyway, I'm going to put it apart now so you can see what the actual mechanism inside is. Give you a little talk through that, and then we'll pull that apart and I'll show you the state of the oil that comes out, which no doubt will be full of air bubbles. So right, back in a bit, let me pull this thing apart and we'll have a look. So here we go, look, I've pulled the outer post off, which is the bit you see on the outside, which is just a tube that the inner slides up and down on. The inside, it is effectively like a bike, like a shock damper, but one that's got like an internal spring, a lockout. The lockout being when you press the button, you release the lockout and activate it, which all it does is inside the end of there, there's a little button that basically pushes it down, so fluid comes in, pushes the button, releases it, the valve shaft can be run down, let go of the button. On the handlebars, this button jumps up, or on a cable actuator, a little arm presses up and down in the air, and it's locked back out again. When you get air in the system though, this bounces up and down, so the air is in this lower chamber. But that's what that bit looks like with the tube off. So all I'm going to do now is unscrew the cap, remove effectively the damper shaft out, and we will see a load of oil in there that's going to be full of air bubbles. So let's get it apart. Right, there we go. So I removed the shaft, and then basically that's the actuator shaft there. So when you press the trigger, that's the button that pushes down. The little shaft does the valve at the bottom. You can see the valve in there for the hydraulics, but this is the reason why you get a bouncy seat post. Rank air-filled oil. And that's not the oil that when you bleed the seat post comes out. This is the oil that lives in the bottom of the post, or I think in the top of the post, depending on what area you look at. So yeah, turning your bike upside down many times as you bloody well like will not get the air out of that oil. All it does is as you turn it upside down like this, that oil, them air bubbles, rather than sitting, so imagine that's inside like this, yeah, that's what slides up and down. So rather than them air bubbles sitting on top of this here, causing it to bounce, as you turn the bike upside down, they travel through them little holes there, and basically all the air gathers in this assembly here, which is the actuation assembly. And then when you turn the bike around the other way, a few up and downs, eventually the air will come back out them holes, back into the inside of here, and you end up with a bouncy seat post again. So yeah, upside down bike trick works temporarily, but it doesn't fix the problem like some of these stupid videos I've watched that claim it does. So all I'm going to do now is this now gets pulled apart. It's going to get all new seals, new bushes, new O-rings in there. Dust cap, if it needs replacing, can be replaced, but this cap assembly is quite expensive. So what I tend to do is pull it apart, chuck in the sonic cleaner, give it a clean, reassemble it, re-grease it, put it back together again, and save you guys about 40 quid. But if that bush, there is a bush that lives in here. Let's see if I can do it one-handed. Yeah. I'm going to say this is ambidextrous. Ambidextrous when you use both hands, isn't it? There we go. So look, there's another bush in there. This one is dirty, but there is no wear in that. That will literally just be crap and dirt that's got in past here into there. Probably contaminated little foam ring, which you can see there's loads of dirt in that as well. So that'll go in the bin and get a new one of them. But this bush doesn't come separately, it comes as part of this cap. So if the bush is worn, whole new cap. But doesn't look like it is. The shaft itself is looking pretty tasty, other than a bit dirty. So this is going to be just your everyday reverb service. So get it stripped down. Like I say, this new bush disc comes new O-rings, new seals, new inner seals on the inside of there, new PU seals and stuff on that. Again, need to get new O-rings in the end. This assembly gets stripped down as the O-ring at the other end. Hold on. Dog's just popped in to say hello. If you're wondering what the noise was. Yeah, and then we rebuild it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on with this and I'll come back with it all done, or partially done. You can have a look what it looks like once how it's cleaned and ready to reassemble. And yeah, and then I'll show you afterwards of it all working properly. So, reverb rebuild time. Right, so, as it's in bits, I thought I'd do a little bit of reverb science with you. So, how does a reverb work? You know, everyone owns one, probably no one knows how they work. So it's a pretty simple sort of displacement technology, really, is the best way of describing it. So, what we have is this tube here, yeah, is full of oil and air, separated by something called an IFP, which is the internal floating piston. This kiddie here is how it all works, but is also the cause of half the problems we have. So, inside this tube, is what happens in here, right? Is that's there, so that lives inside, yeah? This IFP slides up and down on top of this, but I'm going to put it next to it just to make it easier to explain what's going on. And this tube slides inside this one. I'll do that there again to make it easier to explain. So when the seat post is up, yeah, it's all the way up, so this is sticking all the way out the end of this, yeah, the gas in the reverb is sitting at what you'd call ambient pressure, right? So the gas is here, yeah, this through this tube and out the end. There's a little space at the end of here. Well, actually, that space is controlled by this valve. This valve opens and closes, but we'll get into that bit in a minute. It's full of oil. All around the outside is air. But when you press this button, which basically lets the oil move from this space here into this column, or sorry, out of this column into this space here, as you push down, that slides down that tube, yeah, forcing the oil out, which then pushes the IFP up. So when the seat post is down, it's in that arrangement. So now all this is now full of oil, and the gas that was at ambient pressure, i.e. 200 psi, is now squashed to about 300ish, 350 psi, depending on the length of the seat post. Yeah, you let go your button, so this little shaft that sits inside here and slid back. Now the oil can't go anywhere. The seat post is stuck down. When you press the button again and let the oil out, obviously this air, and you take your butt off the end of the post, this air pushes this piston back down again, which pushes that shaft back out again, and up comes your post. Wicked. That's how it works in an ideal world. Now what happens is like I said earlier about this little thing is the key, but also the pain in the arse. This runs on little PTFE bushes and a little O-ring, very similar to the inside of an air shock, and we all know they leak. So the air that's in here, when it gets squashed, or even just in general usage over time, a little bit of air manages to get into the oil. Obviously once the air's in the oil is being wiped up and down this tube, the oil gets in the air side. So they swap places a little bit. But then what happens then is when your post is up, because you've now got air on this side, a liquid can't be compressed, but gas can. So now this can bounce up and down on that little pocket of air while that stays still. And that's why you end up with a bouncy post. And like I said earlier, regardless of what you do, you won't get the air out of there. Turn your bike upside down or waving a magic wand and all that won't fix it. This has to be stripped down. I mean, if you're going to be a bit cheeky, you could basically just strip it down and rebuild it, give it a clean, and it'll work. probably won't last very long because all the crap and dirt as you open it all up and expose it to the elements and now inside and will contaminate and cause you headaches further down the road. But theoretically it would work. But that is it. Like I say, it's displacement. One in, one out. Gas gets compressed, gas pushes seat pushes back up again. That is our pretty much all reverbs other than the non-hydraulic, which I think the last one I said was the old specialised commands. But transfers, reverbs, the X fusions, the brand X's, all them, this is how they work. Simple displacement technology. Real easy. There you go. That's how a reverb works. Right, back again. Just a little quick refresh. So we mentioned earlier about this cap. When the bushes get warm, that's because of the knockback on the forwards on the seat post, the rattle. Well, as you can see, we banged it through the cleaner to make sure it's okay. And as you can see, I don't think you can see on there, there's not a mark or anything on it. And then when you actually slide it over the post, it is snug as a bug in a rug. So there's no need for this to go in the bin. Might as well refit. The seal that goes in it, that comes out, that goes through the cleaner, and then we brake cleaner it afterwards and blow out of airline. So we're now convinced that is clean. The foam ring that went in there, no. See the dirt, look, that we do not want going back in. Ta-da! Brand new one, and the new inner lip seal, so when you screw this down, it's airtight. So, cleaned, new. That's it. Right, let me finish building this up and we'll have another look in a minute. So there we go. Reverb, all back together, all in one piece. No more bouncy. It's rock solid. So yeah, that's what's entailed in getting one of these things working again. Oh, little thing as well. Who caught my mistake earlier? When I said the ambient pressure inside the reverb is 200 psi. It's not. It's 250. But lucky enough, the little dust cap in there reminds us old gits. Keep us going on, keep us on our toes. But anyway, yeah. So reverb. That's how they work. That's the sort of stuff you have to do to keep them working. Now, last little thing I want to mention, anybody who wants to have a go at doing these themselves, which I always say to people, if you've got the right skill around you, crack on, have a go. You know, the reason why I started doing this, and I've been doing this a long time now, I've been fixing these things for 13 years now. It's because I didn't want to give anybody any money, because I'm a tight git, but, big but, I had to go out and buy these. Now, all the greases stuff you use, the consumables, they're like 25 quid a pot, so it's 50 quid worth of grease there. These clamps are bloody expensive, and you need these because these will grab the little shafts in the vise, so for you to undo the captive nuts and stuff. You also need an IFP tool. You need two of these because it depends on what seat post you use and depends on what one you need. So this one, which is the old type, is the old type IFP for the stealth and the normals. This is for the C and aboves, like your accesses and stuff, which have got specific measurements. So bit of tooling involved to be able to put one back together again if you take it apart. So don't just go putting it apart thinking I'll make it up as I go. You need these bits and pieces, plus all the tools and stuff that I use anyway when doing this. So yeah, if you've got the tools and you've got a few quid knocking around, you don't mind spending a few quid and getting the bits and pieces, have a go yourself. You know, I'd charge 60 quid to fix these. So if you want to save a bit of money, have a go. But also Rockshox website, really good. Go on the service manual now. There is a manual for pretty much everything made by Rockshox on how to take it apart, service it and put it back together again with all the parts you need. Same for Fox as well. But the Fox tooling is a lot more expensive and there's a lot more of it. Anyway, digressing. Reverb. That's what it takes to keep one working.